This is how I record my lessons for Qkids, and I recommend doing it every once in a while because it's very valuable to go back and see your lesson and things that you do. Sometimes you can pick up on some quirky habits that you might need to work on cutting out. You also can find out where something went wrong in a lesson and or pick something up that you didn't necessarily pick up during the lesson. So it's not only for editing and sharing your videos on the internet, but it's an industry standard to watch yourself teaching and improve from that. In fact, one time I had a student who shut down completely during the lesson, and I had no idea what happened, and I did everything to draw him back, and I was not successful. And it so happens that I recorded that lesson, and when I was watching it, I saw that he was the youngest in the group, and he was upset because he didn't get to go first when I was doing some of the activity. In fact, he went last. And as the youngest, it's really hard to wait that long. So that was a really great learning moment for me to make sure that the youngest kids go first because they don't wait very well. And I wouldn't have found that out if I hadn't reviewed that video. So anyways, right now I'm using a different program than the one I actually recommend because I'm going to walk you through how to do the complete installation and set it up. So here we're going to go to Google, and all you need to type in is OBS. OBS I recommend because when it's running, it does not interfere with Qkids. I used the recording software that I'm using right now, and it messed up my video and my sound, and I almost lost the class. So I recommend Open Broadcaster Software, OBS. That's what you're seeing here. So let's just click on the download. And as you can see, you can do this for Windows, Mac, or Linux. So I highly recommend it. It's great. So let's go ahead and install. And here we go. And for those of you that might still have a 32, I don't know if that's supported by Qkids, but if you do, install that instead of the 64. And it's automatically finished here. So we'll click on open the file. Okay, it's going to ask me for my PIN as the administrator. And on we go. And we can just click I open and I agree and go ahead and install it in where you'd like it. If you don't want it in program files, you can install it anywhere. But I found that the settings are perfectly fine, and there's no hidden, malware or changing your web browser homepage or anything like that. So it just clean install. It's a wonderful, wonderful program, really. All right, we don't need the internet anymore. And close that. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and launch it so I can show you the settings. Okay, so here we have OBS, and this is how it should look for you. And it's a little bit overwhelming, but it's really not that bad. So the first thing that we're going to do to capture our screen is we need to select the scene. Okay, so here you're going to add that press the plus sign. You won't have anything, but because I've used OBS in the past, I have something. So we're going to go ahead and add a new one and enter the name of it. So say this is for Qkids class recordings. That's what I will use this for. And I'm going to click OK. And now you'll see that that comes up. Now with that highlighted, we're going to go over to sources. And on the sources, click the plus sign. And the first thing that you want to put in there is a display capture, because you want OBS to record your screen. And that's the display capture, and I will just leave the default name and click OK. And now you see that this pops up. Here you can change the size of it. I don't really know how to do that. Capture the cursor. I choose to do that so that you can see where I am, because OBS doesn't magnify the cursor or anything. Okay, so we just leave the default and click OK. And now you see the display capture. And I also like to add the game capture, because if you think about it, Qkids is a big game and it takes up your whole screen. And so we want to probably make sure that we're getting the right settings by doing the screen capture with a game. Okay, so you can say for a specific window, I left it on default, and then this is how I record. You can check your mic and your desktop audio. This mic here is the sound that I'm making. So this is me talking through my microphone, and you can see it bouncing as I talk. If you have this up here, it's going to sound like this, and it's not good. And if you go all the way up, you're going to start getting into the red, and it's like, oh, Teacher D, turn down your volume. So I'll turn down the volume, and I keep that about halfway. Now this slider, is for the sound of the students talking. And so if you want the students to be heard, you're going to need to turn that all the way up. That's how I always have it, is all the way up. And that is how I screen capture on those settings for Qkids. And then what you do is you minimize that, open Qkids, open Qkids, and then with Qkids open, OBS already ready to go, you press F11. F11, have your class, pretend like you're not on camera, all that stuff, do what you would normally do, and when you are finished, press F12. Now F12, for the first time that you do it, is going to pop up a screen asking you where you want to save the video. Save it somewhere you're going to remember. I personally made a Qkids folder in my videos. And now every time I record with OBS, it goes into that folder. Excuse me. Now I want to show you how to add a webcam on OBS. And I'm going to have to close down my other software that's recording this video and come back on OBS and show you how to do that. Be right back. Okay, here we are back again, and this time I want to show you how to show yourself on the screen while you're recording a video. The previous setup only records your desktop and the things on your screen, but now we're going to put ourselves into it. So we're going to start another one, and let's call this one, say, tutorials, because a lot of the times in tutorials you're going to want to see yourself so that, you know, if you stop to talk, your viewers aren't just looking at your desktop. They can actually see you and your animation and things like that. So we're going to make a new one called tutorials, and you can see now we have no sources. So with tutorials highlighted, we're going to click the plus sign. And here, the first thing that we have to do is put display capture, because we still want to have our display in the background. We're just putting ourselves in it. So we have to have two settings here, and it's display capture on its defaults. And you can see that pops up. We're going to click OK, and there we go. We have our display capture, and this is perfect. And then the next part that we want to add is the camera, whatever web camera you're using. So we're going to click Add, and then we are going to click Video Capture Device. Click that video capture device, and this will come up, and you can name these things whatever you'd like to name them. I just use the defaults for a lot of things. Here's the video capture device, and you'll have a list of whatever video capturing software that you have and hardware that you have on your computer. I have different stuff for some live streaming and other videos that we're involved in. So here I know that I want to use my HP Wide Vision HD camera that comes installed on this laptop. So I'm going to click that. And if everything goes right, you will see yourself in this box. Okay? And then I just leave everything as the default. I don't really mess with that stuff unless I have a different purpose, and especially for beginners, just leave it the way that it is. Okay? And then I'll click OK. And here we are. You can see this is what basically it will look like. So if you don't want yourself up here, grab it and drag it down to this corner. Maybe you want yourself over here. Maybe you want yourself over here. Maybe you want yourself in the middle. It doesn't matter, but choose a good spot because you can't really change it once you're recording. So I actually like to be down here because this is where the least action is. This way I can still see these little bars here if I have to show something, but I'm not, covering anything like up here. You tend to cover a lot of things if you put yourself up here. And then I'll even make myself a little bit smaller so that more of my screen can be seen, but you can set it up however you'd like. And now here you see this is how we do our picture in picture for tutorials in screen capturing. So now you can go ahead and do whatever it is that you want to do on your screen. If you want to do a tutorial on the web somewhere or like a YouTube tutorial, you can do that and you'll stay here in your little section that you've already chosen. If you want to do something on Qkids, you can, show how can you get to the classroom. Oh, you click on the classroom button in the top right corner and you are still seen on the screen. Now, when you're recording this way on OBS, you won't actually see yourself in the camera. All you will see is your desktop and no, you won't have the picture in picture. But once you save the video and go back and watch it, you'll see that you are indeed in there. And something I want to show you before I sign off for this video, this tutorial, is that when you go into the Qkids classroom, with this particular setting for OBS, your camera will not work. You cannot record with OBS on this particular setting and do a live class because your Qkids camera will not work. Your camera is already engaged by, I'm going to turn this up because I know it makes my volume go down, but your camera is already engaged by OBS. So even if you go into the video and choose it, you will not have a camera. And then you will have all kinds of issues. And the only way to get it to work is to close OBS and start again. Or you might be able to just come over here and real quick, if you forget, click Qkids class recording. But since you've already started on something else, I may have disappeared off the screen. I'm not sure because, again, you can't see yourself. But my camera didn't go off. So that's not a good sign that, I may have changed it. We can try this and go to video and yeah, you cannot do that. So make sure that when you start OBS, and let me just click on tutorials and make sure I'm still there. When you start OBS, make sure that you have your Qkids class recording where you're not displayed on and not your tutorials where you have your video capture device, or you won't be able to use your video in Qkids, and we know that that's really important. So I think that's about all for the basics of this tutorial, and I hope that helped. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do the best I can to help you, and happy recording, everybody. Like and subscribe, please. As I start this YouTube channel, I'm going to work on lots of projects. They're very time consuming, so bear with me and help me get going. All right, thanks. Bye. F12 to stop.